Hello everyone, here we are once again with another very interesting guest for our interviews. And this case is Alan Mackie from Get the Data. You're one of the directors here. You do research in different areas of criminal and social justice.
Correct, that's right.
Okay, could you tell us a bit about your background first?
Sure, well I spent about 21 years undertaking research and evaluation broadly in the area of criminal justice. But with this particular focus on youth justice and looking at youth prevention. And a lot of projects are trying to keep young people out of the youth justice system because it's better that they don't.
You mentioned before that you had worked with figures such as Sir Charles Pollard and Nigel Wiskin as well.
Yes, that's right. I mean, one of the very early youth crime prevention programs I evaluated was the Milton Keynes Youth Crime Prevention Programme, and Sir Charles was the Chief Constable of Thames Valley Police, and it was one of the very early prevention programmes. And if I recall correctly, I think Thames Valley took the decision that it would be better to stop young people going into the criminal justice system, and the Milton Keynes Youth Crime Prevention Programme was born out of that idea. And then Nigel, again, he was an early forerunner of one of the Youth Justice Board's flagship prevention programmes, the Youth Inclusion Programme. Mm-hmm. And I think when Nigel was at Crime Concern, they had the idea again of making sure that you dealt with the factors that might induce a young person to offend, and then that programme that Nigel developed was mainstreamed by the board, and I evaluated it for 6 years, mm-hmm. and now I think it's even operating in Canada.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah.
Just one slightly personal question. Mm. How did you, because you're an American, how did you get to work at the Ministry of Justice here in the UK?
Well, I'm Scottish.
Oh, you're Scottish. So
I'm Scottish, and I started working as my first job was a researcher in the Home Office Research and Planning Unit, and that was really a fantastic unit of people who were doing all sorts of research in the criminal justice system. So 21 years ago I came down and worked on a large sentencing study of adult offenders, and we looked at how they were sentenced and what the sort of factors that aggravated or mitigated their sentence. That was where I got started. But I emigrated to the United States 3 years ago, and my company Get the Data operates both here in London, where I am today, and over in Atlanta as well.
Okay, well, Get the Data. What's this organisation about? It was funded by you yourself and another person.
Yes, Jack Cattell. Jack and I had worked together since 2008, and in 2012 we decided to set up our own company. And we call it Get the Data because both of us are researchers and evaluators, and the most compelling evidence that we believe you could have for a programme is quantitative data. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think in programmes you can look at reoffending rates, you can look at costs, so you can begin to develop measures of economy, efficiency and effectiveness. And I think that's the compelling evidence that you can give for many programmes today.
That's very interesting because just today I interviewed another person for this series, and he was saying that one of the big challenges for the profession, the sector, was going to be in 2 years' time when people start to ask, what are we getting in exchange for our money? So a lot of money is going into different projects at the moment, but obviously we need to get the results, and they need to be proper results, statistical results, quantitative as well as qualitative, and people need to see that this actually saves money in a way, but also has positive outcomes as well.
Sure, and I think that is all the more important. I think evaluation always had a role in helping to define and develop the knowledge base. And when I was doing a lot of the work in youth crime prevention, the government was flush with money and was funding these things well.
Lucky you.
Yeah, now we're in a very different situation. And I think people, policymakers and practitioners and members of the public have to think, well, what's the most effective response? And how can I, in the case of offending projects, stop reoffending? How can I prevent young people from reoffending within the budget that I have? And I do think that's where restorative justice is very promising from the work that we've done.
Okay, so in terms of undertaking your work, what do you find is the biggest challenge that you face, particularly because some people in the profession complain that there is often difficulty accessing projects so that you can gather the data, be part of them from the beginning, so you can establish the initial position, and then when you do the evaluation, see what the results in contrast with what the initial position was. Is that something that you find? Do you think that it's difficult to get there? Very
much. I mean, I think that's a perennial problem with evaluation, and I think that's something that evaluators have to address. You know, one has to ask this question: where's the value in evaluation? Often, when we go into projects, practitioners think, well, this is just some academic research; it's not going to benefit us. And we like to turn that around and say, you know, actually what we can add is help you understand how you're delivering your project, how you're spending your money. So are you doing this in the most efficient way and reaching as many young people and victims as possible to bring into your intervention? And does it work? You know, having spent all this time, are you actually giving victims more confidence in the criminal justice system? And are you helping young offenders, young people not to reoffend? So I think the information that we can provide through our evaluation is really compelling in that. And we like to work alongside practitioners. And we call it a virtuous cycle of feeding back the data, helping them to reflect on their practice, helping them to improve their practice, with the goal of ensuring that their project is as successful as it can be.
Well, that's very interesting, and very good stuff there to have a think about. I mean, in project management, generally you were told you need to have evaluation as part of your project as well. It's not an afterthought.
Exactly.
So why shouldn't it happen here in this field as well?
Quite so.
Well, Alan, thank you so much for your time. Get the Data is the company, can be easily found on the internet,
yes.
Right? You just Google it.
Data.co.uk.
And we'll be very happy to help anyone who has those needs.
Seriously delighted.
Thank you very much.
A pleasure. Thank you.